Hi, guys. Welcome back to the baseline. Today, we're going to be talking about Trump versus Europe. Is this a trade war or is it another tactical bluff? So, real quick, do you think 50% tariff on everything from Europe sounds like tough love? Or do you think it might be economic suicide? Because here's what just hit the headlines: Trump threatening to slam the European Union with a 50% tariff starting June 1st. No negotiation, no compromise, just a full blown trade grenade with the pin already pulled. And the EU, well, they're saying they are ready to defend their interests. So that's political code for we're going to hit back. So here's what we are digging into today. Is this a genius level Trump power play? Or is he about to blow up the global economy just on impulse alone? Now, can the EU actually fight back, or are they bluffing? And most importantly, what does this mean for your wallet, your future, and your ability to thrive? Because in a world that's about to become more expensive than ever. So let's dig into this, okay? So let's set the scene. Trump's trade nuke. All right, here's what's happened. President Trump, just days before the next round of trade talks with Europe, announced that if the EU doesn't meet his terms, he's dropping a 50% tariff on all European imports. So let that sink in for just a moment. We're not talking about a 5% penalty. We're not talking about a few random products. This is everything. We're talking about wine, cars, cheese, machinery, even your overpriced skincare from Paris. Trump says the EU's playing games and that their trade policies are unfair. And that's America losing billions. So what's his move here? Punish them? Punish them hard? And here's the kicker. Last month, he announced a 20% tariff, then dialed it back to 10%. Now he's not cranking the dial back up. He's threatening to break the knob off. So let me ask you something right now. Drop a comment below. Do you think this is just a negotiation tactic, or is Trump dead serious? Now, Europe's response, it's the stare down. Now, the EU isn't exactly trembling in the corner. They've been here before. They've dealt with Trump and Trump tariffs on steel, aluminum, agriculture. They know how he moves, but this one feels a little different. So, Trade Commissioner Maros, I'm going to mispronounce this, Sefcovic, came out and basically said, "We want peace, but we'll go to war if we have to." And that's not posturing. That's posturing with a flamethrower in the background. Behind the scenes, Brussels is prepping retaliatory tariffs targeting US goods. And you better believe they've studied China's playbook. Because remember how China fought back. During the US China tariff war, they didn't cry foul. They targeted US states politically aligned with Trump. So soybean, pork, whiskey, it was smart, it was surgical, it was ruthless. And Europe's ready to do the same. So here's my question to you guys. If the EU hits back, who do you think gets hurt more? The US or Europe? Because this one could go either way. Now, who's really holding the power? Here's where it gets a little juicy, right? The US imports over 600 billion in goods from the EU each year. And that's huge. But we only export about 370 billion back. Now, that's the trade deficit Trump keeps screaming about. So on paper, yeah, we buy more from them than they buy from us, which means theoretically, we've got more leverage. But now wait, because it's not just about numbers, it's about supply chains, prices, and consumer behavior. So if we slap a 50% tariff on European cars, prices go up. American buyers either pay more or stop buying at all. And that hurts sales all the way around. That hurts dealerships, that hurts jobs inside the United States right here. So, same thing with wine, tech, clothes. Pick your poison. And guess what? Europe, they've got tools too. They can target United States exports like Harley Davidsons, Levi jeans, Boeing jets. They can hit back where it hurts politically. Now, who's going to blink first? I don't know. And the real talk is if you're an American worker in a plant making goods that rely on European parts, this isn't a their problem situation. This is a you problem situation. Now, let's flash back when the tariffs were backfiring. Let's rewind to about 2018. Trump launched a massive tariff campaign against China, said it was about protecting American jobs, leveling the playing field. And what happened? China retaliated. Tariffs got slapped on American farmers, soybeans rotted in silos, farmers got crushed. And they had to be bailed out with our taxpayer money, your money. Meanwhile, inflation crept up little by little and supply chains got tangled. And China didn't surrender. They played the long game and they're still playing it. Now, Europe is no pushover either. And here's the crazy part about it. Trump knows that. And he's banking on the idea that if he goes big and bold, they're going to cave. But the question is, what if they don't? What if this is the bluff that finally gets called? So, the Apple angle phones, factories, and fantasy. Let's throw another log onto this fire. Trump didn't just threaten the EU. He also came for Apple. Yeah, that Apple. He said iPhones and all smartphones should be hit with a 25% tariff unless companies bring manufacturing back to the United States. Now, that's wild because let's be real, Apple builds in China. Samsung builds in South Korea. Nobody's building phones in Detroit. And Trump says, build a plant here, no tariffs. And it sounds simple, right? But building a smartphone factory isn't like flipping a pancake. It takes years, billions, and highly, highly skilled labor that the US doesn't have enough of. So here's my next question for you guys. Is Trump playing four-dimensional chess or just playing fantasy football with the economy? Because forcing companies to reshuffle global supply chains overnight, that's like trying to build a rocket with Legos and duct tape. It's difficult. So, is this the end or is it the beginning? Or the end? I don't know. So let's step back. Let's take a look at the big picture and what's really happening here. Is Trump flexing for leverage, hoping the EU holds or folds? I don't know. Or is he dragging us into an era of economic isolationism? And that could break the very system that's helped the United States dominate for decades. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. America benefits from the current trade system. Our currency dominates. Our companies operate globally. They're not loyal to the United States. They're loyal to shareholders. And our consumers get cheap goods. Now, break that system, and you risk breaking the very economy that you promised to protect. Now, the EU isn't China. This isn't about punishing a rival or a rising rival or another economy. This is about whether America is still willing to play on a global team or if we're going full solo. And if we do, it's not just Europe that pays the price. It's all of us. So what can we take away from all this? Here's what I want you to take away. When a leader threatens tariffs this massive, it's not just about politics, it's about power, it's about fear, it's about control. But here's the thing, power without wisdom, that's just destruction in disguise. So I want to hear from you guys. Drop a comment right now. Do you support Trump's tariff threats, or do you think this is going to blow up in all of our faces? Let me know your thoughts. They're really important to me. And once again, guys, I really appreciate you watching the baseline, watching this episode, and we'll catch you in the next round. All right. Cheers, everybody. All right. Take care.